All right, everybody, how are we doing today? My name is Todd, and I am with Tick, and we are out to find what makes people tick and why do they do what they do. So I'm here with Rachel or Rochelle.
Yes,
Rachel,
Rachel.
Rachel, yep. And she is a race wife. Her husband is a race car driver. Um, and I would assume that it'd probably be harder to be the one that sits on the sidelines and watches than the one that drives in the car. So
Yeah, sometimes it does get that way. But I mean, this was something that my husband did before we even got together. So I knew what I was getting myself into, whenever we first met, because he's grown up around racing all his
uh,
life. His
right.
dad raced sprint cars back in, the late 80s, early 90s. He raced in ASCS, and then he also raced with a lot of with some of the guys in the World of Outlaws. So my husband grew up around racing all his life, so it made sense that he would become a race car driver himself. So he was racing go-karts when I first met him, and then um he moved up to sprint cars. And then, because unfortunately where we live, there's not very many tracks that run sprint cars. We were having to
Hmm.
travel a lot, so he gave that up because our kids wanted to do motocross. And
Well,
so he gave all of that up for a while, and then they got out of it and he wanted to go back racing. So late models was really the only thing that he was interested in possibly doing, but knew that we could race pretty much everywhere.
oh yeah.
He wasn't going to be limited. So yeah, so we've been doing that for a few years now. So
You guys could travel around a lot, and was that the South in
yeah,
the Southern Division?
so we stay pretty much within Louisiana, and then we go over into Mississippi sometimes, but that we pretty much stay, as local as possible. We don't really go too far anymore. So
Yep. So how big was I guess, was your learning curve? Never were you didn't grow up around racing at all?
no, I did not grow up around racing at all. My family never watched racing or anything, so I was really new to the whole thing whenever my husband was the reason why I got introduced to racing, and that's what made me fall in love with it. And I mean, I've been with my husband going on 18 years now, so I've learned so much. I mean, not just about like what he races, but even like he's a big NASCAR fan. So we go to Talladega every year, for the fall race. And we camp out there in the infield and everything. So we actually immerse ourselves into a lot of, different racing communities, because we're just big motorsports fans, period. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I like a lot of racing. Just about anything that's racing, I want to watch it. So yeah, from
Right.
from sailboats to snails, I'll watch it. If they're gonna race, I'm gonna watch them race. So I think it's great, fun stuff. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, my grandfather is in the Colorado Motorsports Hall of Fame as a drag racer. So I
Oh,
kind
okay.
of grew up around drag racing a lot. So um, yeah, I know that
Yeah.
that whole thing. But so what can you do other? You're gonna try some racing, or I know
Oh
that
no.
our tracks around here let you can go out and pay. I think it's like 30. It's probably more than that now. You pay $50 and you get in a car, and it's usually just the women get in the cars and they race around the track that we have here.
Oh,
So
okay.
so yeah.
Yeah, no, racing's not really for me. Like, I don't want to get in the car. I don't mind doing the behind the scenes stuff. So, whenever my husband's working on his car, I work on the car with him. Like, I've learned a lot about the mechanical side of it. Also, when it comes to um I because every car is different,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's different chassis and things like that. So I've learned a lot because he's switched chassis and things like that. So adding what, like especially like with go-karts, like you would add weight to things or not, or take weight away, and with the late models is like changing like the suspension, because obviously
Yep.
with the rod heights and things like that. So I've done a lot of that with him. But yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, because like I didn't know anything about race cars at all, and so, or really anything mechanical. I didn't come from a family that worked on vehicles or worked on
Right.
anything. So it's like, when he would tell me to pick up a certain type of wrench, it's like, or like, I didn't know the difference between a regular wrench and an Allen wrench. I didn't know
Right.
any of that, so like I had to learn a lot of things. And because I've been so immersed in the racing community for so long, that was kind of like why I wanted to get more involved, and I wanted to do more things, especially with like women in motorsports, because women in motorsports are very underrepresented. There's not very many of them. And so that was why, I ended up starting my blog and my podcast called
Right.
Race Wife Unfiltered. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I saw some of those episodes. I think that's good. That's one thing that, yeah, women are under not in drag racing. There's a lot of women in drag racing. But in, yeah, just regular, yeah, there's no women in NASCAR now. There's no women. I don't think there's any.
There's With NASCAR, there's only well,
Not
you've
in.
got two. You've got Haley Deegan,
Yep.
that's in the truck series, and then you've got Tony. Oh, I don't remember how to say her last name. But she
Right.
is in the Xfinity series. But yeah, like
Hmm.
you don't have any women in Cup. You don't.
Nope.
Um, and well, there was another woman in the truck series, but I don't know, Natalie Decker. But
Yeah, Natalie.
I don't
Yeah,
know if she's still doing it.
yeah, I
Okay.
think she's still doing it because I follow her on Facebook and she's
Okay.
still doing it. She got fitted for a new seat just a little while ago. So
Oh,
I think
okay.
she's down. She might be down a little further. Um, I'm not sure how the divisions work their way down, but I think she's down a little
Yeah.
further division.
Oh,
So,
okay. Because I know she had a
yep,
truck ride at one time, but okay, but she might have moved back down to Arca, maybe.
yep, I think she might be in Arca.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Yeah, and I don't
right.
know how to pronounce that other lady, Tony. I don't know how to pronounce her
Yeah,
name.
I can't pronounce her last name, but
Yep,
her, yeah, she
yep,
she finally moved up,
yep,
from, she was in the Wheeling series,
right,
and then she moved up to, to the Xfinity series now. But yeah, so I mean, that's really all you have in NASCAR. And then you do have some females that run like on the more local levels, like
oh
in the
yeah,
dirt track side, but you don't have any that are like in the World of Outlaws. World of Outlaws is all men.
is it?
There's no women in the World of Outlaws. Honestly, and I don't know if there ever has been. I know for as long as I've been around it, I haven't seen one woman racing in the World of Outlaws. So yeah, on the dirt side, it's mainly women. They might race on like the local level, but as
Right,
far as like getting really high up, I think the only ones that I've seen a few at like the Gateway Nationals and like the Chili Bowl,
right,
but you don't but then they don't even really get the screen time or anything like
right.
that. So yeah, so it's kind of a very small amount. But you do see there's actually a lot more women in like in F1, like in their lower
Right.
divisions, like F2 and F3. You're
Yep.
starting to see more women in there. But I don't follow F1 enough to really know a lot about it. But yeah, you do see a lot more women represented in that area. And then
Yep.
in like you said, in like in drag racing too.
Yep.
So
There's a lot of women in motorcycles and funny car, all everything.
yeah.
Yeah, all the way up and down drag racing. There's women everywhere. So there's a
Mhm.
lot. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for getting more women into racing. There's no reason why we shouldn't have more and more in there.
Right.
One of the only sports where men and women can compete. on the same level. So,
Yes,
and
I
I'm
agree.
and I really would like to see women play baseball, not softball. So there's no reason they played it in World War II and then they stopped and they've started playing softball. And
Right.
I don't see why that there shouldn't be a professional women's baseball league. So I'd like to see
Oh,
that.
I agree. I agree with you on that one too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that happen. So that'd be pretty good. So yeah, I'm always looking for something to do with women in sports because I think I watch all kinds of sports too. So the Olympics, I love it because you get a lot of the women. You see a lot of women's sports that you don't get to see throughout the regular part of the year. So you get four
Right.
years. You get especially the Winter Olympics. Stuff like that. You don't get to see all the time. And so yeah, I'd like to see some more women participate in especially in racing. So yeah, I don't think I've ever seen any women in World of Outlaws. I'm trying to think the local track that we have here. It was dirt for a long time, and then they paved it, which I hate that, but
Oh, okay.
they paved it a long time ago. So yeah, I don't ever remember even growing up as a kid going out there and seeing women racing. They race in I think there's some in the legend cars,
Hmm.
the little cars, some in there, and then some of them race in the buses,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, none of them ever race in the train cars that they always weld like three or four cars together. You got the person in the front's the gas, and the person's in the back is the brake, and I don't ever see any women in there because I don't think that would be a good husband and wife team doing that stuff. There'd be a lot of arguing about that. So um, but yeah, I'd like to see more women in racing. It doesn't matter if, like yourself, if you're, turning the wrenches or driving the car. So
Right.
yeah, I'd like to see more and more of that because it gives especially you see it a lot in drag race when we go to the drag races out here. A lot of the little girls always are up. They want to get pictures and autographs and of
Hmm.
all the women drivers and stuff. And it's pretty cool to see that stuff. So you know that's where it all begins. The young girls come in and they see that and they see that well, if she can do it, I can do it. And then
Right.
then they
Exactly.
move up from they start go-kart racing and kind of move up from there. So or
Hmm.
the junior NHRA stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, I really would like to see more of that. I haven't been out to a race out here in quite a while, so I have to go out and see what's going on. So usually more drag racing, not a lot of I think we're it's not I think it's a little bigger than a quarter mile. Maybe it
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know what it is. Half mile. I think maybe no, it's not that big. Colorado International Speedway. It's pretty big racetrack. I've been going out there since I was a little kid. I used to ride my motorcycle out there across Interstate 25 and go out there. And now little kid would be doing that. They go parents would get thrown in jail for letting their
Right.
kid ride around in the dark with no headlight on their car or their stuff. So, but yeah, we go out there all the time. I like that stuff. So, was your husband pretty lenient on you for the first few years since you didn't know what an open-ended wrench was or
Yeah,
a half
yeah,
inch or
he was. He knew that I didn't really know much about it, and yeah, he was very patient with me, and I'm glad that he was, because I mean, it also helped me learn a lot, not just on a race car, but just like in cars in general,
oh yeah,
because I mean, a lot of women don't know how to work on their own vehicles or anything like that, because we're not really taught. You're just
yep,
told like, oh, we'll make
yep,
your partner do it, or
yeah,
or pay somebody to
pay
do
somebody to do
it.
it. Yep,
Yeah, and so just being around all of this, like, it's made me learn and like appreciate having that skill, because since he's taught me so much, I can do maintenance on my own vehicle if I
right,
need to. I mean, he tends to do it anyway, but like, I can help, or I can do it on my own if I need to. But he tends to just take that on because he prefers to do it. But yeah, I could do it though if he let me. So
so can you walk out on a track yet and know what kind of setup you're gonna need to look at yet?
Normally, yeah. So like we can walk out on the track, kind of see like, if one thing, if it's dusty, if it's extremely dusty, if they haven't watered it like they
Right.
should have, if we think that the track is going to, like, how the track is going to change throughout the night, like what we should do. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten pretty decent at that now. I've been doing it for a long time. Now, with the late models, it was a major learning curve for us because it's completely different from a
Oh,
sprint car.
yeah.
Because with a sprint car, even just driving it is different because you actually don't let off the throttle in
Right.
the corners. And my husband forgot that he can't drive a late model
No,
like a sprint car.
you gotta slow down.
And yeah, trust me, the first year there was a couple wrecks that he ended up having because he went in thinking he could just run it like a sprint car, and
Yeah.
it didn't turn. It didn't want to
Yeah.
get up on the bars like it's supposed to. And yeah,
Yeah.
he had
Big old heavy car versus a little sprint car. Yeah, that's like,
right.
yeah, it's complete
Exactly.
open wheel versus a over the
Yeah.
lot wider and longer wheelbase. There's all kinds of all kinds of just the little things you don't think of as yes.
Right.
It's a
And
single seat car versus not a two-person car, but you could really put two people in,
right.
inside
Yeah.
that. But yeah, that's a weight problem. There's a lot of weight issues there, and yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
then you also don't have a wing on top. And
oh
so like
yeah.
he wasn't, so he wasn't really, like, he had to really change his whole mindset of how he runs on a track. Because yeah, with a sprint car, yeah, with it being open wheel, also it's a lot more dangerous
Oh
too,
yeah.
because you touch somebody,
Yep.
both of you are pretty much going to get taken out.
Yep.
But
Somebody's going up in the air.
oh yeah, yeah. And with the late model, you can actually,
Oh yeah.
touch and race. And so that was also something that my husband had to learn too, because he was afraid to, like, rub
Bump.
people
Yep.
because he was so used
Yep.
to a sprint car. So he didn't realize that he could actually do that with his car at first.
Yep.
And so yeah,
Bump some
there was a
people out of
lot.
the way, give them a little shove,
Right.
send them up
Rubbing
a
his
little high.
racing pretty
Yep.
much is what he.
Yeah. Just put them up a little higher in the corner than they wanted to go so you can get around them. Oh yeah, there's
Right.
all kinds of little things yeah, that make a huge learning curve to learn how to drive from an open wheel to a closed wheel car. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big thing. So is he gonna look at going up another level or just gonna stay with the late models?
No, he pretty much plans on staying with the late model. And now our youngest daughter, she wants to race late models. So he's like, oh, I'm probably going to be retiring
Oh yeah.
and put her in, because I mean, she's going to be 15 this year. So, he's talking about like trying to like get her to get in the car and get used to the car. But she keeps telling him, no, I'm not going to race unless you race too, pretty much having two
Oh,
cars. So I'm like, I don't know about
yep.
all that. We'll have
Yep.
to see.
Yeah. Two cars, that's pretty big, it's a pretty big bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
supporting two vehicles. But yeah, I watch a lot of little specials on like the kids that go-kart race and stuff like that, and the parents that just some of them are just nuts about, they just go right off the deep end, and the other ones are just like, let them race.
Yeah.
We'll set their car up or their little go-kart up and they go out and do it. And the other ones are like, this is their first step to Formula One. And it's just like, it's just like baseball and football and all that other stuff. Only less than 1% of those kids are ever going to make it to the professional level. So
Yeah.
and
And like my kids, they did go-karts for a little bit too. And yeah, the dealing with some of those racing parents
oh
is,
yeah.
oh man, like
Like,
there was one time where, like, I almost got into a fight with one of the parents because, like, their little boy was supposed to be not in the rookie class. He was running both.
mm,
And so he was running, he ended up running in the rookie class as well, knowing that he's
Lot, yeah, a lot
way
better than,
past that,
yeah.
way past that. And my oldest daughter was actually running him down. And um, you know, she cut down, to the bottom, and he tried to like dive down on her, and she didn't let go. Like she just floored it.
Yep.
She wasn't moving. And he ended up spinning out because of it. But I mean, it was her line. She
Yep.
was there, and he tried to turn down on her. And he had the nerve, like the parent had the nerve to go up to my kid and like
Mm.
try and chew out my kid over it.
Yeah,
And it's
no.
like, no, you
Yep.
don't yell at my child.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
work that
know?
way, especially with kids. Yeah, you got to go to parents first, but yeah.
Yeah. Like if you had a problem with it, come to the parent. Don't start yelling at my child. And then it was their child's fault. Like he
Oh yeah.
practically spun himself out because he tried to clip down on my daughter, and my daughter didn't give him an inch.
Good for her.
Yeah.
That's
So
yeah, that's a I don't know if that's a skill or that's just just to learn. I don't even think you can learn how to do that. You just got to be in it, and yeah,
yeah.
you got to just okay. I know I'm not going to lift, and yeah. So I mean, she's gonna be a monster race car driver probably. She's not going to give an inch to those guys, and they're
No,
gonna
she was like, and I told, and she's like, well, did I do something wrong? I'm like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. You held your line like you were supposed
yep,
to. He
yep,
cut down on you. Like that's not your fault. And that's why he spun out.
yep, yep. Oh
So
boy, that's one thing that yeah, I don't have girls, so that's one of those things. It's like, man, I don't know if I'd be able to handle her racing cars. So, you see
yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know if,
I had a feeling because I mean, my kids grew up at the
oh yeah,
racetrack.
oh yeah,
I had a feeling that that day was going to come. And obviously they've been watching their dad race. So I knew my oldest daughter. She's going to be 18 this year, and she's not even interested. She doesn't even live at home anymore. Like she's off doing her own thing. But my youngest though, racing is just in her blood. Like that's just, she lives and breathes that. So I had a feeling that it was only a matter of time that she was gonna, want to jump back into racing again.
yep,
So
yeah. Ooh, I don't know if I could just put her in bowling or something, something like that. Or yeah, not gonna get yeah, but yeah, wife always teases me about that. You're lucky you didn't have a little girl. It's like yeah, probably. So yeah, because I did all that. I played a lot of sports and stuff, and when I was in the military, that's all you did. You either worked or you're off playing sports. So
right.
we played everything. So, but yeah, it was yeah. I have two kids who don't play sports at all. So they're not good. They're not good team players. They're not good individual players. They're not good at any of that stuff. So it's like, oh, that's fine. I have one that doesn't do any sports at all, and the other one he just watches sports. He watches baseball, and
Got
like I do. So,
yeah.
but I watch a lot of sports. So that's funny. Dad must have had the mom curse somewhere along his life that I hope you have a child someday that's acting just like you, or doing something just like you. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
probably racing go-karts and just drove his parents nuts, and mom threw the mom curse on him, and now he has the daughter that's doing the exact same thing. So
Yeah,
yep,
pretty much.
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's funny. So wow, that's a whole nother topic all on its own. So she's tall enough to fit inside one of those big monsters, or she got it?
Yeah.
Is
And
she?
she's like, well, see, my husband is 6'2".
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so like my daughter definitely, and like I'm short, I'm 5 foot. So like she ended up getting that gene because she's pretty tall for her age. So because she's taller than me already, and she's 15 and she'll be 15 in May. And yeah, she's taller than me already. So yeah, she can see, in that late model. She's gotten in it a couple times. She hasn't really like, she hasn't really driven it. She's just
Right.
kind of like backed it in to our garage or whatever. But yeah, she can see everything, which is good because I've gotten in it and I
Yeah.
can't
Well,
at
because
all.
the seat's all set up for him. So yeah, you're just gonna disappear,
Yeah,
disappear into that seat. You'll be gone.
exactly.
So yeah, wow. I can't imagine having to deal with that. I think that Dad is going to be a uh, worse one out on the side, in the pits, screaming and yelling at her, and do this and do that, and she's just going to be like, "Shut up, Dad. I know what I'm doing. Shut up, Dad." So yeah, he's probably not going to be a good, I can see that happening.
Yeah, he's pretty bad about like spectating.
Oh yeah,
Um, because especially when it comes to the sprint cars, because like we went watch the World of Outlaws when they came to Monroe, Louisiana. They went to the Rev, and he in the stands,
screaming.
like he's like shaking, he's like,
Oh yeah,
fidgeting and everything. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm really bad at watching people race, especially when it's something that I've raced before.
oh yeah,
He's like, I can't, like, sitting here, it drives me crazy. But and obviously I wouldn't really understand that because I've never been in his situation. But yeah, he's really bad about that. And even like when we've gone to, if some of the sprint cars run here around here, and we're racing at the same track,
mm.
he takes off like he's like a little kid. Like he just takes off and he's like going to all the sprint car drivers because he knows most of them
Oh yeah,
because he ran with them whenever we did run the sprint cars. And like he's running over there talking to everybody, working on their cars, knowing that he needs to be working on his.
oh you got
Or
it.
yeah, he just kind of like leaves me to myself, and I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, like you need to come on. Like there was one time he almost missed his feature because he was helping somebody on their sprint car and he didn't come, like he didn't come back in time. Like he had to hurry up and jump in the car, we had to just throw things on and he had to get out there. Yeah.
Yep.
He's pretty bad about that
That
sometimes.
sounds like my grandfather. He'd help that out, the other guy out, to do all that stuff. Yeah, he raced out at Bonneville, had a speed record out there, and in drag races and stuff. And he'd be in the pits working on other guys' engines and cars and stuff, and he wouldn't be able, spend all the time. Even before he passed away, he was in his 80s, and we'd
Oh
go
wow.
out, and you know, I was stationed down in New Mexico, and we'd come up to Colorado to see him, and um, he wouldn't be home, and it's like, oh, where the heck is he at? And it's like, well, let's go over to the drag strip and see if he's over there. And we'd go over to Bandimere Speedway, and I just go in and start driving around, and it's like, oh, there's his car, so he's here somewhere.
Okay.
You just kind of get out and ask, where's, just ask people, where's my grandfather, and they go, oh yeah, he's down there working on so and so's car. And we go down there. It's like, we're here in town. You knew we were coming, and you're out here at the racetrack. So, so yeah, I know that that side where, yes, he's too busy doing other stuff or watching. He would watch basketball. He's a big basketball guy too, so he would have 2 or 3 TVs, and he'd be watching basketball. He wouldn't have any of the volume up, but he'd be watching 3 different basketball games or something like that, or a baseball game and a basketball game. And you're just, what are you doing? So yeah, it was all good. We always watched a lot of racing, a lot of basketball, a lot of sports. I always watched a lot of
Right.
sports. So, but yeah, that's pretty amazing to. Yeah, you're gonna get. You have just 2 daughters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
what
it.
you got? You got one of them into a car. I wonder if he was planning that all along. He's gonna get one of those kids in the car.
I honestly, that was something that I did talk to him about. I'm like, how would you feel about them possibly
Yeah.
racing? Like, obviously,
Oh yeah.
And he's like, honestly, if they don't want to race, I'm okay with it. I mean, I would rather them do what they truly want to do. And, I'm not going to force them to do it. But if they want to try it,
Right.
then, I'm all for it. And I'll let them race. And, if they don't like it, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they try.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened with like the go-karts they ended up like not really liking it too much. And then also then when they did motocross, my youngest liked it, but then it's like, they eventually just didn't want to do it
Yep.
anymore.
Yep.
I mean, they're kids. I mean,
Yep.
they were really young at that time. So I mean, kids get interested in stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't want to do this
Yep.
anymore.
Didn't think it was what it was going to end up being like, and yeah,
Right.
then they want to do something else. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you follow drag racing at all, but you got John Force. He still races,
Hmm.
and all three of his daughters raced. So he has two
Yeah.
of his daughters race now, and one she doesn't race anymore. But I just couldn't imagine that either. You got all three of your kids racing, and they just all want to beat up on their dad. That's the only reason she wants him to drive, so she can beat him. Because
Yeah.
beating all those other guys is not a big deal, but when you beat up on dad, that's fantastic. That's better than
Right.
you can finish in second to last, as long as dad's behind you. That's all that matters. So so I can understand that. Yeah,
Yeah, we
you would want
actually we went to NHRA. We went to the race in Dallas.
Mm.
And yeah, we ended up meeting one of the forces. I'm trying to think which one it was. One of the girls,
Oh,
though.
tall blonde or short brunette?
Oh, blonde.
Blonde,
Yeah.
Brittany. No, not Brittany.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Brittany
Yeah, because Ashley doesn't drive anymore. Brittany drives. Um, she drives dragsters, and
yeah.
Courtney drives uh, funny cars. Courtney's husband is oh, what the heck's his name? He's an IndyCar driver. Um,
Yeah, what's his name? Is that Graham Rahal?
yeah, Graham Rahal.
Yeah.
That's yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a racing family.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah. We did yeah, so we met actually, yeah, it was actually Courtney. It was Courtney that we met. And I, I think my daughter had got a picture with her because there was because we met her, we met Erica Enders,
yep.
and um Leah, um
Yeah, she's married to
Leah,
Tony. She's married to
yeah,
Tony
we
Stewart.
met her
Yeah.
too. We met her. Um so yeah, there was quite a few that we met, but
Yep.
they're really
Oh yeah.
nice people.
Yep.
Leah especially, she was like being hounded by people, and she could tell that my youngest daughter was really like she really wanted to meet her because that's her favorite driver.
Oh.
Leah's her favorite.
Yep.
And she wanted to meet her so bad, but she also didn't want to like cut people. Like she didn't want to like push people out the way because I mean she was
Yep.
little. She didn't
Yep.
want to do that. And Leah could see that she wanted to
Yep.
get over there. And like she walked up to my daughter and kind of like pulled her in so she could actually get an autograph and take a picture with her. And so I was really happy about that because then my daughter is really shy, so she didn't want to like
Yeah.
impose.
Push
So,
people. Yeah, you got to push people around, especially drag races. There's a lot of
yeah.
people. Right? You got to push them around, and yeah, you guys get slimed with some nice nitro exhaust and crying. And did you get that?
No,
You didn't get
I
that? Oh,
no,
that's an experience all by itself. Yeah, because
no, but like that was something that it's funny that and I've told people this that I've never experienced going to an NHRA race, but it's like when the especially when the top fuel dragsters come through, it's like it shakes your insides.
yep,
Like you can feel your whole entire body
yeah,
vibrating when they
yep,
go by.
yeah.
And
I try to take somebody new to the drag races every time I go. And one guy took him a couple times, and he kept saying, "Why can't I see anything?" It's like because your eyeballs are vibrating in your head. That's why you can't focus on anything because your
exactly.
eyeballs are wiggling all over the place. So yeah, just people don't understand how loud those things are.
Yeah,
They are so
that
loud.
too.
So, but yeah, that's amazing. That's fun stuff. Yeah, I always try like taking my niece. There's one of my nieces I haven't taken, so maybe I'll have to see if I can sucker her in to go in the drag races with me this summer. So see if we can get her
Yeah.
to go. But yeah, it's always fun. So, but yeah, that's good. Well, I do hope the best for you, and I hope that
Yeah.
your daughter does get a race against her dad, and she beats up on him every chance she gets. Because I mean,
I
I know
think that's
that's
why she wants him
oh
to
yeah,
race.
oh yeah, I know
Because
that's
she's like,
exactly
no, we both need to race, not just me. And I
yeah.
think that's what it is. She wants to be his competition.
Yeah,
And
she wants to
so
beat him. It doesn't matter. That's what the Force girls say. They just want to beat Dad. They don't want to beat anybody. They just can't wait to race against him because they want to beat him. So yeah, I know that's exactly why she wants to have him
yeah.
racing because she wants to beat him. So yeah, I hope that hope good things go well. And yeah, I've seen your podcast, so I'll probably start following some more stuff on there. And you're see about more women in racing. I think that needs to be a big thing. You know, we don't even have automotive stuff in high school anymore to draw them, to draw girls in high school and stuff. So um so yeah, I wish we could change that. I think that would be a big push to get more girls interested in stuff like that. So
Yeah.
but
No, I agree. We actually where I live, there's one high school that actually they partnered with one of the dealerships here.
mm,
And they sponsored so they could have an automotive class.
no, it's good.
But I mean, they were the only ones around here, and it was because they actually went to a dealership and tried to, and they're like partnering with them. But yeah, I mean, you don't really have that anymore, unfortunately. A lot of that stuff has kind of gone away.
Yeah, we have more farming stuff out here, cows and
Oh,
pigs
okay.
and sheep, and yeah, learning how to work on big tractors. And yeah, it's funny when you go to the high school and it's ag day and there's 45 big tractors out, and there's cows out on the lawn of the high school, and pigs and all
Wow.
that other stuff. So yeah, we don't it's a different lifestyle living out in the country versus even just
Right.
if we were to just move 10 miles to the west, or even maybe a little bit more than that, 20 miles to the west, get in closer to I-25, that
Oh, okay.
the whole outlook on life is completely different from 20 miles further east that things change. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So but yep, I got a dog sitting here staring at me. He thinks it's time to eat, which it's not. Nope, it's not time. You got some time, buddy. And no, but hope the best of luck, and hope your daughter gets to race against her dad because that's what she wants to do. So I know that's going to be a big. Got to buy another car, and it's not cheap. So
Yeah.
another car,
Yeah.
another trailer, another hauler. I could probably haul two into one trailer. Just get a bigger trailer.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely get a bigger trailer because the
Yeah,
trailer we have right now is only
it's
meant for one car.
one car.
So,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
but yeah, hope you know best of luck, and what do they always say? Wheels up, wheels down, and you don't want the wheels up in the air.
Right.
And yep,
Exactly.
yep, and yeah, hope the best of luck to you, and we'll keep watching your podcast. Hope we get some more women into racing and one side or the other. Turning wrenches or something like that. So
Right.
it's good stuff. So yep, thanks for joining me, and
No, no,
yeah,
thank you.
best of luck to you.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.